My family left me to be raised by my grandparents when I was a child, cutting me out of their lives. Now, years later, my dad needs a kidney, and they've suddenly reappeared, insisting I donate mine to him. Hello, Reddit talkative here. I grew up in my grandparents' small, creaky farmhouse, surrounded by love, but haunted by the echo of abandonment. My parents, Beth and Lucas, had disappeared from my life when I was 5, leaving me with nothing but a teddy bear and vague memories of bedtime stories. Grandma said they were figuring things out, but I knew better as the years passed without a single birthday card, phone call, or visit. Grandpa and Grandma were my real parents, teaching me to ride a bike, bake cookies, and fix a leaky faucet. I learned to be content without the love of the people who gave me life. But then, everything changed with a knock on the door one crisp autumn afternoon. It was Beth, my mother, with tears streaking her perfectly made-up face. Behind her stood Lucas, my father, looking older, but no less a stranger. "Anna," she began, her voice trembling. "We need to talk." I didn't invite them in, but Grandma did. She was all grace and patience, even when my parents sat at our kitchen table like they belonged there. They explained. Lucas had end-stage renal disease. He needed a kidney transplant, and I was their only hope. "We never wanted to leave you," Beth said, her hands wringing a tissue into knots. "But we were young, scared, and made mistakes. This is our chance to make things right." I stared at them, disbelief bubbling into anger. "You abandoned me for 15 years, and now you want a piece of me. Literally?" Beth flinched, and Lucas sighed. "You don't understand what we've been through," he said. "But we're here now. We want to rebuild our family." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of emotional manipulation. Beth and Lucas showed up unannounced with photo albums, trying to reminisce about a childhood I barely remembered. Beth cooked dinner one night, but her lasagna didn't hold a candle to Grandma's. Lucas fixed the squeaky screen door, but it felt like he was trying too hard to play dad. The pressure grew relentless. Phone calls from unknown numbers, letters in the mail, even a visit from a lawyer reminding me of my moral obligation as a daughter. Meanwhile, Grandma stayed silent, her face a mask of neutrality that I knew concealed her anger. One evening, after another exhausting day of their badgering, Grandpa spoke up. "Anna, you don't owe them anything. Blood doesn't make a family, love does, and they've shown you none." His words solidified my resolve. When Lucas's health took a turn for the worse, Beth begged me to meet her at the hospital. She looked frantic, her face pale under the harsh fluorescent lights. "Please," she whispered. "If not for him, do it for me, for us. We're still your parents." I stared at her, the woman who had chosen to leave me behind, and felt a surprising pang of pity. But pity wasn't enough. "You made your choice 15 years ago," I said. "And I'm making mine now. I'm not a walking spare part. I'm a person, and you don't get to waltz back into my life, only when you need something." Beth collapsed into a chair, sobbing. I turned and walked away, my chest heavy, but my conscience clear. In the weeks that followed, Beth and Lucas stopped their relentless campaign. Grandma told me they had found another donor, a distant cousin. Life returned to normal, or as close to normal as it could be. I felt a strange sense of peace, knowing I had stood my ground. Months later, I received a letter from Beth. She apologized. Not for leaving, but for trying to guilt me into saving Lucas. "I hope someday you can forgive us," she wrote. I didn't respond. Forgiveness isn't a switch you can flip. It's a road you walk when you're ready. And maybe I'd get there someday. But for now, I focused on the people who had always been there. The family who raised me and the life I was building for myself.